Good morning, everyone. It's going to be a gorgeous day here. Pool time. Yep, we got other things to do today. It's today. What's today? What is today? Wednesday? I can't remember. We had a lazy day yesterday. Everybody just did their own thing, more or less. I don't know, everybody seemed a little tired, right? Yes? Yeah. Who says one has to keep the kids busy all the time, right? They need to learn how to relax and rest, yes? And that it's okay. Anywho, I'm so proud of my youngest daughter. All the artistic talent when it comes to creating and designing and then put the just draft into the finished product on a wall, right? Yes, she and a friend of hers from school, they also went together to college and kind of kept there in touch as well and decided to do their own mural business, and they're doing very well. They've been in different states in the United States to paint murals for different things, and they were hired to do one in our town. And the people loved it so much that our mayor said, well, money well spent on our own, right? People in the town, right? Yes, and they just painted a huge wall. It's always kind of been an eyesore, yes, and it's just beautiful, right? And they incorporated three kind of legends, if you want to call them. One of them's still alive, so I can't call him a legend. But people from the town that, for example, Osborne brothers, both of them have passed away now, and they put both of their instruments that they're well known for playing into the mural, and it's just beautiful. It's not just the instruments that are there, they have this way of combining the physical and the spiritual in a way, right? Yes, reality and ethereal reality, right? Or a little fantasy. And then Mary Breckenridge, and the way they put that on was a horseshoe, because it's one of those well-known stories where women, midwives on horseback through snow and I don't know what, right? Because Mary Breckenridge started this, right, little organization of midwives going out into the rural communities in the mountains and helping the women give birth. And so they did that on horseback, yes, and there's a stethoscope that kind of goes there. So there's a horseshoe and a stethoscope, and it's so well done. That's wow. And then Tim Couch, which was a football player, and so they have a football there. So anyway, and then kind of the natural beauty of where we live there. It beautifully done. It's an absolutely gorgeous piece of work. I think the best so far I've seen them do. Though the other ones are great too. So I'm as proud as can be as a parent. I'm just elated over on how these two young ladies, right, 25 years old, are beautifying the world, right? Yes, the next generation, not just destroying things, beautifying the world. Yes, our town, other places. I have no doubt that anyone that comes across one of their murals just goes, wow, that's really something. Yes, yeah. So I hope that many people will just go, we've got to have these girls working for us. We want something like that. Yes, yeah. I think it would be money well spent. All right. Okay. Woo! What a wonderful, it just, and again too, right? Yes, on how the town these girls come from, yes, grew up in, they went to school, it's a small town, everybody just about knows everyone. Okay, not quite, but it's close. On how they also with other people, right? If there's this talent there for one thing or another, the community really embraces it and supports it. Yes, I said money well spent. I tell you what. Whew. I remember, gosh, it's been so many. Let's see, my daughter is 35 now, the oldest one. She was a baby when I went for the first time to visit that town. And my husband at the time, already, he said, I want to live here. This is my hometown and I'd like to live here, right? Yes. And I went and I looked and I'm going, if you think I'm moving into a trash can, that ain't happening. And I said, we have no money. Where would we live, right? And I said, I'm not going to live on a mining claim or something. In a little hut. Though I have to say now, I probably go, one could do worse, right? So I said, yeah, let's go home and build up a little something that then, when we do come back here, right, that we have something to start out with. And I said, in the meantime, let's see if this town can clean up itself a little bit. I felt like, all my life, you know, after I've grown to become an adult, I moved into dumps, okay? I mean dumps. They were all dumps. And I cleaned them up and I beautified them. Yeah, maybe that's where my youngest one got it from, huh? Beautifying things around me, right? That makes it more than just livable. It makes it beautiful and amazing. And every home that I had, that then I put my touch to it, people would come in and say, there's something about your homes. What is it? It just feels so warm and inviting and And, but I thought at that time, I was still a young mom. I was, what, 23, 24, going on 24. I looked at that whole town and said, man, I can't clean up that all by myself. I'm going to have to see God working in this community to clean up this dump that was a town. And they sure did. But let me think. My father-in-law got really sick. That is also when all the children pitched in of his, to buy the one land that we're on now, the piece of land, so that it wouldn't be taken, right, as a collateral for his called health bills, whatever, right? And though he was a veteran, right, yes, and it turned out to be fine, but so anyway, so yeah, that ended up in 6 of his 8 children's, well, he had 9, but okay, we're not going to go there. His names, right, and then we had to buy them out when we decided to buy the place. But it was maybe 10 years later that we went again on a insane trip in our VW camper van and made it there in 3 days with 3 children in the car as well, because it looked that bad. We thought he might be passing. He didn't. He lived another, gosh, 15, 20 years. Well, anyway. And I went and I looked, I'm going, wow, this looks a lot better. This really does. It looks better. Still not the way I wanted the town to look like, though. But it was a lot better. I said, you know, I said to my husband, but then I said, you know, it looks a lot better. I can see ourselves, you know, starting to think maybe, you know. And well, anyway, so then we ended up buying a house in California. And, you know, I've already told this story before. And then we went, so 22 years ago, we started to really, we wanted to get out of the city. It was one of those things where it was time. If there was a time, it was then. And we ended up going back again. That was my third time in Kentucky to look at the land. Okay. My father-in-law by then, he was really sick. In his 90s, he was 90, 91, and had cancer. Anyway, it didn't look good. He was more in the Veterans Hospital than not, and we just said, well, if we want to do anything, it's got to be now. So I said, let's go have another look. We went. Wow. Well, I don't know who suddenly became the leader of that town, but boy, I tell you what, it was cleaned up. It looked so much better. It felt healthier. And I thought, wow, this is, yeah, I can see myself living with this community, yes. And we ended up driving up to the property, and it was just gorgeous. It was absolutely beautiful. It was the first time that I was there that I saw that property, and I fell in love. I fell in love. I wanted to be there. So then we went home, and we started, yes, the process of selling the house, looking at what we wanted to build. Yes. Interesting. And yeah, what a journey. What a journey it was. Yeah. Yes. And I felt in a way that God really prepared the way. I really do. When we ended up getting to the county with our two cars, well, one was the U-Haul, and then my car, our car, behind it. It was the last day of the toll for the parkway. The last day. After the day after, people didn't have to pay anymore. Isn't that last day? Drop 50 cents in there. And we got to the road to go, it's about 3.5 miles off a state road, then becomes a county road, about 3.5 miles. They're tiny roads, and it was freshly paved. It was wonderful because we had to get double trailers. They came with double trailers to deliver the logs for the barn and the house. How these guys got in there and how they made them turns, I have no idea. But they did. I have to give it to truck drivers out there. You guys rock. You're amazing. Your skill is unbeatable. That was, to me, that a driver could do that with a double trailer of logs to get up in there and into our property. Blew my mind. No one had an accident. Nobody got stuck. God. That's all I can say, because I've seen plenty of smaller vehicles get stuck in those curves, and I don't know what, and you have to go and find another way to get back into, to your home until they got out, right? Anyway, which there always are. There is several. That's another thing too. The location of the property. It's not just one way in and one way out. Okay. Well, from our driveway, but even there's several ways that you can get out on foot. Right. But when you get to the county road, there are about 5 or 6 different ways to get out. Okay. Yes, in different directions. Isn't that something? We got flooding going on in this and there's always a way for us to get out. Always. Right? Yes, just amazing, isn't it? Yeah. Well, anyway, so there is that. And so freshly paved. So that was, of course, perfect. So much easier as well for anybody that needed to get stuff to us. What an amazing time that was, and how God really prepared the way for us to be there. Yes, we were meant to be there. Well, anyway, and here now, second generation of our family and her friend are there, beautifying even more the town 20 years later. Amazing. Amazing. I've mentioned this before too. We have Pride Month there, and it is June, and it's garbage pickup month. And lots of people go out and they clean up the garbage that others just lovelessly throw out in this beautiful place. But there are others who go and clean up after them. Yeah? Yes? Ah. And that's the month of June in my little county. It's Pride Cleanup Month. Yes, pride for the county. Yeah, love your little county. Yes. Yeah. Anyway, so there it is. And our family, most of the years, has been a part of that as well. Okay, well, there we go. Oh yes, yeah. So. Oh, the property was so beautiful, this snap, until you got to, we got there in the end of May, I believe, and then by fall time, when the foliage all died down and this snap, it was pretty overgrown, you could tell the dumps there. It was incredible on how much garbage people had dumped over the hills, okay? I mean, it was insane. We had to put up a gate, especially to let people know this isn't the dump anymore. People live here now, because the driveway is over a half a mile long. Well, anyway, the kids, of course, helped, but there was some garbage there. I'd say, no, the children can't help with that. It's too dangerous, and it's too disgusting. Yes, so guess what? Yeah, I moved onto a beautiful piece of land, and yet it was used as a dump for many in the county, and I got to clean that up. Story of my life, right? Yes. There was a lot of garbage. You guys don't even want to know how many bags I hauled up, pulled down. Unbelievable. But I didn't leave it. I couldn't leave it there. There's no way. The bigger stuff, we had people help us, you know. And the tires, of course, we go, no, what are you reusing those? And grown many, many things out of those discarded tires. Tires are great to grow food out of. Yes. Now, they're only toxic when they're being burned. So, you're perfectly fine to grow food out of tires. All right, let's get this started here. Talked already 20 minutes. I've got a boy coming soon. Got Granddaughter's still snoozing in there. We are in 1 Samuel 8. Samuel and Saul. Oh, the institution of the monarchy. Oh, whoopity whoop whoop whoop. The people ask for a king. Oh, the people ask for a king. Interesting. Well, there we go. When Samuel grew old, he appointed his sons as judges of Israel. Oh, it didn't say nowhere he got married. Who did he get married to? How many children did he have? Okay, all right, here we go. His eldest son was called Joel, and his second one, Abijah. They were judges at Beersheba. So he had 2 sons. That's it. His sons did not follow. Oh, well, there you go. Oh, my God. Sounds like history is repeating itself with Eli and his sons, and now with Samuel and his sons. His sons did not follow his example, but seduced by the love of money, took bribes and gave biased verdicts. The elders of Israel all assembled, went back to Samuel at Ramah, and said, "Look, you are old and your sons are not following your example." Sounds familiar. "So give us a king to judge us like the other nations." Oh! God wasn't even taken under consideration. Nobody is consulting and said, what are we going to do about this? We should consult God. No, no. They looked at everybody else and said, well, they all have a king. Seems to work pretty good. They want to do what the other nations are doing, though they're supposed to be what? God's people. And God's people isn't supposed to be doing things the way other people were doing it, right? They were supposed to become God's people and implement God's ideal, right? On how you live together as a people. Yes? It's not happening. Ah, interesting. Hey, you know what? There is the truth to the saying, the grass always looks greener on the other side. Samuel thought that it was wrong of them to say, let us have a king to judge us. So he prayed to Yahweh. But Yahweh said to Samuel, obey the voice of the people in all that they say to you. It is not you they have rejected, but me, not wishing me to reign over them anymore. They are now doing to you exactly what they have done to me since the day I brought them out of Egypt until now, deserting me and serving other gods. It is so sad for me to see that this is in here, and obviously Samuel did have this connection to God. Right? Yes, well, God called him, so he did have it. Right? And on how this is written down here, on how Samuel has to recognize on how how the people are just what they're going to do. What they want, how they're going to do it. And God says, well, go ahead and do what they want. It's really sad. But the recognition is here. Samuel realizes, oh my gosh, well, here we go. And not even his sons, again, though he saw what happened with Eli and his sons. Yes? That's really sad. So do what they ask. Only you must give them a solemn warning, and must tell them what the king who is to reign over them will do. Oh, there we go. What do kings do? I'll tell you what, the one thing when you look through okay, I'm not going to go there. Disadvantages of a monarchy. Everything that Yahweh had said, Samuel then repeated to the people who were asking him for a king. He said, this is what the king who is to reign over you will do. He will take your sons and direct them to his chariotry and cavalry. War. And they will run in front of his chariot. Oh, of course. He will use them as leaders of 1,000 and leaders of 50. He will make them plow his fields and gather in his harvest and make his weapons of war and the gear for his chariots. Whoops. Yeah. He will take your daughters as perfumers, cooks, and bakers. He will take the best of your fields, your vineyards, and your olive groves, and give them to his officials. No kidding. He will tithe your crops and vineyards to provide for his courtiers and his officials. Oh, so sounds to me like, who's taking the place now of the Levites? God put a whole tribe in charge of what? Exactly what we're hearing here. Now it's just going to be what? A king. A king and his family, and then, you know, we all know how that works, yes? And are they going to have, and they're not supposed to inherit anything, right? Yes? No heritage. There's a reason why, right? Yes? They're supposed to serve God and the people. When you have a king like this, the people just serve the king. Where's God? The king's not serving God anymore. He will take the best of your servants, men and women, of your oxen and your donkeys, and make them work for him. He will tithe your flocks, and you yourselves will become his slaves. When that day comes, you will cry aloud because of the king you have chosen for yourselves, but on that day Yahweh will not hear you. It's not that God doesn't hear you. It's not that God doesn't see you. There's nothing he can do, absolutely nothing that God can do unless the people do a 360-degree turn. Say, oh dear me. You got to show some foundation first before God can actually be there. Foundation of what? Willingness. Willingness to do what? Well, again, if one has to tell that to the people, then it's already. If you're just following something that someone else says and it's not in your heart to mind, it's probably not going to last. The people, however, refused to listen to Samuel. They said, no, we are determined to have a king, so that we can be like the other nations, with our own king to rule us and lead us and fight our battles. Oh! Samuel listened to all that the people had to say and repeated it in Yahweh's ear. Yahweh then said to Samuel, do as they ask and give them a king. Samuel then said to the Israelites, go home, each of you, to his own town. So this is how it started, hey? Oh, that was it. Samuel and Saul, that's the super chapter 2. Well, there you are. In our movement right now, we have this king. Well, he's separated himself and literally built up his own whatever. It's not going anywhere. I can't see it. But he's the king there. And then his son's going to be the king there. And sad to see for me and how, wow, this story in a way, yeah, with what's going on in our movement, some similarities there. There were some when the one son of Reverend Moon was anointed kind of thing. It's like kind of the crown prince, which can change, right? Just depends on if they actually are capable of doing their job, whatever, you know. But I think, so he was, and then when he passed away, Reverend Moon, right, that boy thought, that son thought, he's just going to step in and be the next ruler now over the whole movement or whatever, right? Yes? Really weird, completely disregarding his mom. And his mom said, no, this is not how it works. We're not going back to the Old Testament to Samuel and Saul. Right? No, I got my path to finish here for the women. And then that combined with my husband's path, then we have the true parents really going to have a foothold on earth. And that will guide the rest of the people. You're not coming in here and topple that now. You can't do that. Then when I'm gone and pass away, then you're supposed to be the guidance and the leader like a Levite priest. Right? So you need to you have to study. You got to be with me. You got to study. You got to study true parents' life and work. and truly learn how to listen to God and put God's words into action. That's what you're supposed to do. But we're not going to have, right? Suddenly now you sit here on the throne. That's not going to happen, and you shovel me aside or into a nursing home or something. Oh, he didn't like that. But so there it is. People want a king. Oh, and the members that followed, right? The son. Oh my gosh, they're just. It's awful how they talk about women and mothers, and it's awful, just awful. Okay, and they revered their king. Nothing to do with God anymore. Nothing. Yes, I'm glad that didn't turn out that way. I hope that when True Mother passes away, that someone, maybe a group, maybe some of the grandchildren, great-grandchildren, right? They come together as what? Yes, the true families, relatives, right? Yes, extended family. This not come together and say, well, we got to, as now left behind, as second, third, fourth generations, etc. We need to work together as a community, as a family, then to be the example, continue to be the example out there for the rest of the people and guide the people with the completed testament. Yes, that's what I would like to see. And then, what did I say yesterday? Eventually, we're not going to need any of that anymore, because it's already God resides with his commandments, with his ideal on how to live here on earth for mankind, as of mankind. It will already be in every household, in every family. Yes, yeah. That's what we should strive towards. Anyway, so there it is. And then it isn't about, oh, what do they got over there? Oh, that looks really good. I think I want that too. It won't be like that anymore. A king won't look at other nations and go, if I could have all them people too and topple that king, that'd be great. That'd be more powerful. Yeah. Right. Oh, and they got a gold mine over there. Oh, I really want that. Right? And then, what happens? It's always like that. The Israelites just fell prey to that as well. Oh, they've been falling prey to it. It's a very sad passage right there. God knows. Samuel, and the way that was given, very interesting. People pay attention to that little part. Samuel says, well, they want a king. I'll give them what they want. Obey the people. Obviously, they're not happy with me being their guidance. Bless you. All right? Samuel as well. Okay. I don't know. Did Samuel try to talk to the people? Said, wait. Can we just talk about this? This is not God's way. And where's God? Didn't you just... 20 years of peace, 20 years of living fine with their neighbors, no war, under Samuel's guidance. And then the sons came, and what happened again? And the people were living so well at the time. And it was easy to convince the people that, hey, you want what they got. And maybe Samuel's sons were already looking at that throne going, I think I'm going to get back. I want to sit on that throne. Right? Very sad. Well, anyway, so there it is. I don't have much more to say to that. I know that from having read so much about history all over the world, from all different continents, and what monarchies have done, emperors, empresses, kings, queens, you name it. there were very few rulers like that who didn't consider themselves a king, queen, and wanted their status. They looked at the people and what do the people need? Yes? What do they need? There isn't a place out there that flourished under a monarchy. None of them. They started to flourish when they broke away from it. Yes? Yeah, if you just look at the monarchs' families, oh, they flourished, yeah, under the yoke. And who was under their yoke? Did the people flourish, truly? Huh? Yeah, well, anyway. If one goes and reads up again, I did. I wanted to know. Huh? Yeah, what inspired me? Watching movies. Whoa, that's kind of, well, let's go read up. Oh, sure enough, okay. Especially when it would say that it was taken from a true story, right? Yeah, true accounts, this and that. Oh, really? What true accounts were there? And it's pretty awful. It's awful. When one really reads up in history and on what these monarchs, these kings and queens and emperors and empresses, how self-centered and selfish most of them were. There were a few. Yes, there were a few. That were okay. That actually advanced not just themselves and their riches and their territory, but they advanced the people themselves. Yes. Oh, you want an example? Well, when I read up on Korean history, there was a king, and I can't remember his name. He's not very well known, except for, and there's not much to say about him, except for, right, that he invented the Hangul language. The language, the Korean language, that people could learn how to write down themselves. Because for a long time in Korean history, they didn't have their own, they had their own language, but they didn't have their own grammar and all that. They wrote everything in what? Chinese. So, and this one emperor or king of Korea invented, yes, that was his life's work for the people. Huh? Yes, that was a good one. Anywho, there it is. Is there another good one? I have to tell you, I think. Well, I probably could come up with one more or two. Maybe other people know, but that was the one that stuck with me. It's a beautiful story. Well, anyway, so there it is. Oh, and yes, yeah, he was opposed. Yeah, yes, yeah. Oh, not by the common people. Anywho. So there it is. No, we don't need kings and queens. We need a people, right, that lead the rest of the people when it comes to spiritual matters and, of course, God's ideal. Yes?
Oh, hey guys.
Oh, hi. Look at you. You're already here.
Mom, they're here.
Okay. Well, I got to finish up.
Where's Danny?
She is still inside snoozing. Want to come say hello to the people?
Hello.
His birthday is coming up. How old are you going to be now? 8. Well, that's it for today. This is my little prince here. Huh? Yeah? He loves God too. And Jesus. Yes, he does. He says, I do.
I go to private school.
Yeah,
Christian school.
he goes to a private Christian school. Yes. You like it?
Yes.
Yes. Love school.
So my friends are mean.
Yeah, well.
Especially Kinsey.
Yeah.
Kinsey. She's the meanest in the class. She's so mean.
I wonder why.
She puts me against the desk.
Oh, I wonder why she does that. We'll need to talk about that. Maybe you can help her be a better person, huh? Yeah. Well, that's it for today. God's love, blessings always. May He protect you, and I will talk to you another time.
Oh man.